Hi there guys, Tim Kraus with Photified. You're about to watch a review of my first wedding that I did for myself about half an hour ago. I was notified by my wife that I sound quite negative. I actually had a really good time and the photos I think turned out really well. I do point out my mistakes, which I think is helpful for you guys potentially and especially for me. And I just want to say quickly a few things that I kept on saying to myself throughout the day. One, I kept on saying I'm not their wedding planner. I know I didn't say this out loud, I said this in my head. I gave them suggestions on when stuff should be squared away, but in general, I just kind of went with the flow. Ryan Brenheiser, who's a famous wedding photographer, if you guys do weddings, you should definitely follow Ryan Brenheiser. He's pretty crazy, especially in his work, and how much work he does. One thing he says is that my job is to be with the bride and groom and to capture their day, whatever happens. So that's kind of the process I went on too. Whatever happened, I was there to capture it. Yeah, I'm not the wedding planner. I'm just going to go with the flow of it all. And they're not paying me to be stressed out was another thing I kept on saying to myself. Because whenever I feel anxiety come up, I'm like, hey, I'm just here to do my job to the best that I can. And that's it. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen almost every wedding. And every wedding I've helped out with, pretty much mistakes have happened. But my job is to do the best job that I can do. And that be it. So, overall, had a very good time. Wasn't very stressed, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Hi there guys, this is Tim with Photified. Gonna go over my first solo wedding, and my daughter's having breakfast in the background, so you might hear her throughout, but it's kind of whatever, having kids. So this was the first wedding I've shot by myself. A few years ago I shot several weddings with Jason, and it really helped me get a kind of a grasp on the flow of a wedding and kind of what's expected. So I'm going to go over first a few of the things that I think I did poorly, and then I'll go over some things where I think I did a pretty good job. So, this first one, very important. I had 3 batteries for my A6000, which was enough. I used 2.5, but this was a really short wedding. A little bit of backstory. This is David. He is my brother-in-law's best friend. He was getting married, so friend of a friend wedding. It was a really chill wedding. We showed up at 10:30. Left at 7:30, just 9 hours, so that wasn't that bad at all. But yeah, I used up 2.5 out of my 3 batteries. I was charging the other batteries once they were used up, but I already bought some more for a few more weddings I'm doing this year. So make sure you have like 5 batteries, 5 to 10 at least batteries for a mirrorless camera to do a wedding. That's something that I did. Also, I used airplane mode. I basically shut off everything external on my camera to help the battery life. And airplane mode basically turns off the Wi-Fi, which helps the battery life go longer. Now we're going to go into kind of the biggest spot where I messed up at, and of course it's an important spot at a wedding. And that would be the first kiss. I'll go down here. Oh. I didn't mess up terribly, but it bugs me, and it'll probably bug you as well because you're photographers. Yes, there's a lot of these. I did not deliver all of these here. So, some backstory on this. I was using the Rokinon 85-1.4 with a ND8 ND filter on it. The reason why I was using the ND8 is because I was planning on, right after they came down the aisle, to do some more photos with the flash, because all these were natural light. Let me just show some real quick. The ceremony was really small, like 50 people, so it made it really simple. I mean, this was in front of, this is their house, or her parents' house, and then they just brought chairs out from their house here. And so it was really small, 50 people. I mean, it was a really easy, smooth first wedding. For me, definitely a nice way to ease into it. But the part that I messed up at, or the part that I feel I messed up at the most, was the first kiss. A few things that I did wrong here. I had 11 frames a second, which is the fastest this camera could do. Which, if you've ever heard that before, it's really fast. I shot at 11 frames a second here, and also at the bouquet toss. 11 frames is this fast, in case you're wondering. and now my buffer's full, and I can't fire very fast after that. And that's kind of my mistake with firing 11 frames a second is, you'll see here for the Kiss, I have, and I'll explain the rainbow in a second, I have like the whole thing, like I can make a video of it, and then I have this shot. I missed the pronouncement, basically, in the hurrah, or whatever they did right after the Kiss, which frustrated me. So that's one of the things I messed up on. Another one was I put the ND filter on for this part, which I shouldn't have done. My ND filter is 77 millimeters, which is bigger than my focal threads, which are 72. So I have a step-up ring, but that also means I can't use my lens hood when I have ND filter on. My plan was after they had the first Kiss, they were going to walk off, and then they were going to be in shade, and I was going to flash them, use my flash, and get some portraits of them there. That did not work out so well. And my ND filter caused this really weird rainbow flare. Because the sun was right up here. You're like, yes, they're slightly blurry. Yes, they are slightly blurry. That's another thing I messed up on. Pretty much all my mistakes culminated right there, the first Kiss, of course. I shot at f2 the whole time, or most of the time, on my 85. I used 85. I used my kit lens for some of the. I used my kit lens for some of the environmental shots because it's a 16-50, and then I used a 30mm f2.8 Sigma for a lot of my other shots. But most of the time when I had this lens on, I was at f2, and f2 at 10 feet away, my depth of field is about 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches. And they're about 10-15 feet away, so it's about 4 inches depth of field. And when he stepped back here, he went out of my depth of field, which I didn't realize because I was just bursting like crazy and it was just going nuts. Also, this flare, I believe, came from my ND filter reflecting inside, because I've never had this flare before on this lens, with or without the hood. Never had it. So that's pretty much the spot I messed up on the most. I'll show the before edited version of this. So yeah, that's the raw. I mean, didn't do much, but as you can see, it is just the preacher's not quite in focus, and they're not quite in focus. It is literally right in between them. See this grass here? This grass here is relatively in focus. So that's my mistake that I made. It did kind of frustrate me, especially the next day. So now I'm going to go over some of the things I thought I did well. Having an assistant. My brother was with me the entire time, which helped out a lot, because for almost every shot, other than the ceremony and the reception, I used flash. This is my brother, also my business partner. But, so like, and that's also another thing I did well, is I used flash, which I really like flash. And like I talked about earlier, shooting with Jason has helped a lot. If you could be a second shooter for somebody, totally do it. I didn't get paid for, I think I might have got paid for one of the weddings I second shot with Jason, but it was so worth it in just having that experience. Even though you work for 12 hours and don't get paid at all, but you learn so much of how a process should go. But yeah, pretty much all these shots, and they didn't want a lot of getting ready shots, which was fine. But pretty much all these shots have flash. This one has flash. The dog flashed. Except for these wide ones, I didn't. All those, this was flash. I didn't flash the goats. They have like 8 dogs at their property, so I got those. I used the 30mm lens, and I photoshopped this out later. 30mm lens turned around on my camera to give me a macro shot, basically, so I can get this ring. So you can see my softbox right there. It was just right on top of it. So that helped tremendously. Like, these are the portraits of the groom, and then the groomsmen, which I think turned out fine. The ladies surprise the grooms or the guys and open up the window, which had all these Christmas lights crash and break on the ground, which is kind of funny. I enjoyed that, but more enjoyed that. I mean, it was funny. These shots here are particular style of shot I learned pretty much directly from Jason. He does these shots all the time, and they like them, so I did those shots. Some kind of fun with the flash is that I did some big group shots with the flash. Like, this is also with flash. I mean, all of them pretty much are with my flash, my 85, and my ND filter. Something I thought I also did well was that I had the mood board on my camera, which basically I talked to the bride and groom, and they sent me 13 photos on Pinterest of stuff they would like. So I downloaded those photos, and then on each one of my cards, I took pictures of the photos on my computer. Not to say that I took them or anything, just basically to have that as a memory. So because whenever I basically took pictures of it. Then, if I didn't know what to do, since those were the first photos on the card, I just looked at my photos and just rolled to the right, and then I automatically saw my first photos again, which made it so I had a mood board on my camera for basically what they wanted. Like, this shot was pretty much almost directly from the mood board. That's what they liked. These shots here, I got a little bit of not good light on there. But yeah, this is all flash as well. Just matching with the background. Yeah, so these turned out, I like them. You know, they were a super chill couple, really easy. One thing I also didn't do too well, I'm not doing this in order, but is punching in for focus. So on Shooting Manual, I have my custom 1 button is my punch in for focus. I got lazy 3/4 of the way through and wasn't doing that, and it cost me. I had to delete some photos that I liked because of that. Oh, by the way, this is her car, which she likes a lot, so that's why we took a lot of photos around our car. And so this is, it's blurry. This is how our setup generally was for the guys. Had my speed light, my Yongnuo YN3, and then just a 24x36 softbox. Used that most of the time. I also used it for these shots too, which I had my flash at like half power. I had to lower my shutter speed a bit low there, but I find it funny. And these are for my bride shots as well. But yeah, and then just I set up family shots with the flash, so thought I did that pretty well. Another thing I did well was shooting in RAW, which I hope if you're doing a wedding, you're shooting in RAW. This lighting situation was rough. The Rexsun, and this kind of explains it. Also, they have this nice circle thing in the middle, so they walked together for like 2 steps and then separated. But it's a direct sun and then deep shadow. If I pull the before, that's what it looked like. As you can see, my shadows are up to 100, highlights are down, just to kind of make it so you could even see the people. So that I was quite happy with afterwards, even though, it's not perfect light, but I'm not moving them in that situation. Artsy photo. Brother photo. So, that was having to move around the camera. Yeah, that sums up all that. Fast photo turnaround. This is something also I learned from Jason, to have a quick turnaround. I shot this wedding on Friday. I delivered the photos Sunday. And I was actually doing something else all Saturday. This was another shot on their mood board that they wanted. Oh yeah, and most of these weren't with, actually these weren't without the flash. These are without the flash. These are just in the super, super bright sun. So, I've turned around 500, I ended up delivering, 526 photos in 3 days, or 2 days. And it wasn't hard. I mean, I had to sit down and actually do some work for a few hours, but I got through it all, and then I basically took them from Lightroom, which is how you're seeing them now, put them through Photoshop actions, and then delivered them. So, this was their cake. Homemade. So anyways, that was my first wedding. Went pretty well. I'm doing 2 more weddings. That didn't go too well right there, but I'm doing 2 more weddings this year. Because typically I don't do weddings, so I'm trying it out with these 3. This one was relatively easy, really chill couple, so that was not a problem. I got one at the start of August, one at the end of August. End of August is my brother-in-law. We'll see if I like those, and if I do, I'll do more next year. If not, just going to be pushing on to more volume photography. But that is where I'm at. Anyways, guys, this is Tim with Photified. Have a good day.